What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Power Play with CJ. Today we're focusing on the Montreal Canadiens firing of GM Pierre Gauthier and what it means for the Habs going forward. Obviously, not the best season for Montreal fans. I mean, as Bruins fans, it's easy to snicker and laugh and say, ha ha. But, knowing that there's no chance to see Montreal in the playoffs, it's like, bummer, say what you want, but those are always great series, and even regular season, the games are intense, and it's definitely the best rivalry in hockey, and I think Habs fans will agree with me on that. You hate us more than you hate the Leafs, but there is a lot of mutual respect there, and I hope it's reciprocated by you guys too. But, at 29, 34, and 14, last place in the Eastern Conference, they're playing awful. What are you going to do? I mean, there's a good young PK Subban's having the sophomore slump, and I think that was kind of, you saw that one coming, He had a great rookie year, and to build upon that as a defenseman at that, in that market where the scrutiny is at an all-time high, is definitely kind of a hard thing. But he's a good hockey player. He'll bounce back. He'll have a good bounce back here next year. He's going to continue improving it better. He's up for a new contract at the end of the year, hopefully for his sake. Actually, his numbers aren't that far off of last year. He's improved in the plus-minus department, but I think he just got off to such a slow start. He's 3 points off last year's total so far. And he's got, he's a -8 last year, he's a +5 this year. So he's still progressing. It's just not as, not as obvious. So that's, part of it. But, looking at, Max Pacioretty's had a breakout year. He's going to be a big part of the future. Dave Desharnais's had a great year. He's going to be a big part of the Habs' future. I think you just got to weather the storm. Hopefully, for Habs fans' sake, you guys get a top 5 pick. You will get a top 5 pick. It depends on where the draft order is. Draft definitely a good young offensive-minded forward. I think Mikhail Grigorenko. Miguel, that'd be a baseball player. Miguel Grigorenko, Dominican Republic, for the Boston Red. I'm just kidding, I'm making stuff up to go along. But, I think he's definitely going to be, he plays for the Quebec Ramparts, good all-around hockey player. That'll definitely be an impact player in the NHL sooner rather than later. I think he could definitely complement the forward core the Habs have, and help you guys going forward. Make his debut as soon as next year. I think that's what Montreal fans want. You all have been at a top 5 pick since Carey Price 7 years ago. That was more of a luck of the draw. But I'm also looking at this list going, you got a good young puck-moving defenseman, Nathan Beaulieu, for the St. John Sea Dogs. They're having a hell of a run. All he's done is won everywhere he's gone. All I do is win, Nathan Beaulieu. So I think he'll be a good fit down the line. I think he's in the NHL season. And Louis LeBlanc's on the guy that's poised to break out next year and get a full-time role with the Habs coming out of camp. Jared Tenardi, out of the U.S. World Junior Team. He's got his ups and downs, but he's going to be a better version of Hal Gill, which I know you Habs fans are saying. Jesus Christ, it's not saying much. He's going to be a good hockey player. You guys got Blake Jeffrey on. Obviously, the bloodlines are there. Whether or not the skill is there, I don't know. And Danny Cristo. There's kind of an iffy situation if he's signed, if he becomes a free agent. But if you can sign him, he'll definitely challenge for the roster spot next year out of camp, and I'll be ready to help the Habs. I think with a great goalie like Carey Price, you got to get him locked up this summer. It's going to be a rough couple of years. I'm telling you guys, as a Bruins fan, I know it sucks. Knowing you're probably not going to make the playoffs at the beginning of the year, and you don't concede that. You never, ever, ever concede that, because teams look at Ottawa this year. But knowing that it's a long shot to make the playoffs coming out of camp, you kind of go through the motions and say, oh, shit. But you need to go through hell to get to heaven, as it is being a Bruins fan. We had to suck for all those years. We had to go through the Dave Lewis era. And trust me, guys, as bad as Cunninworth is, I know that was a whole rational shit about him not being able to speak French. He wasn't Dave Lewis. I'm telling you right now. You want to see bad coaching, look at the Dave Lewis season. He has beat us up all the time. It was mean. Actually, y'all missed the playoffs that year, too, so it wasn't... The whole missing the playoffs thing isn't new. It's being a lottery team that is. I think you guys are 2 years away. You really are. Could you sneak into the playoffs next 2 years? Yeah, but I wouldn't give up your assets. You get a good... You can improve your young nucleus with the guys you have in the system, the guys who get through this coming draft. Don't give up the ship to make a playoff berth next year or the year after. Just kind of go through the motions, let Pacioretty, Subban become new fit. Pacioretty, Subban, and Carey Price become the new face of your franchise, and definitely in a few years you'll be back to NHL elite. Like I know you guys think it's your birthright, and as a Bruins fan, when the Habs are good, it spices up the rivalry, and the Bruins got a great future too. So hopefully the rivalry will be what it is at. As much as it pains me to say this, I like it when the Habs are good because that means when the Habs are good and the Bruins are good, the rivalry's at an all-time high, and you gotta love that as a hockey fan. So that's it to my brothers and sisters of Montreal. Hang tough, weather the storm, and y'all be back on top in due time. And whatever you do, don't hire Pierre Gauthier to be a GM. I'm telling you right now, he'll give up everything to get Dustin Byfuglien. He's got a man crush on Dustin Byfuglien. There are a couple other guys he has man crushes on that he'll try to acquire, and it won't work out. But stay away from Pierre Maguire. I know Serge Savard is advising in the search for a new GM. No, you guys will find someone good. But I think also on the flip side of the coin, you let a pretty damn good young coach in Guy Boucher get away. And I think that'll hurt for a while. Because I know the Lightning aren't having a great year this year, but last year they were in the conference finals in his first year as a coach. He's really gotten the most out of his players. He's really had Le Cavalier, who I know you guys wish you had because he's French-Canadian, admires Beliveau, plays kind of like Beliveau. I think had you had him, I don't think this would. Yeah, if he was your coach over Cunninworth, I don't think this would be an issue. Because as a sports psychologist, he talks to every player individually and doesn't coach the group, but he coaches the individuals, and through that, they adhere and become a solid group. But whoever your new coach is after Cunninworth and new GM, losing Guy Boucher is going to hurt for a while. I'm just going to say that. But that's it for this episode of the Power Play with CJ on the firing of Pierre Gauthier and what it means for the Montreal Canadiens going forward. Stay tuned for more episodes for the season. Later, guys, or what's the word for bye in French? I don't even know. I know bonjour is high, but whatever. Later, guys.